Hey everyone, in this video I want to talk about my suggestion for balance changes for Legacy of Phercia. This is the second trial, obviously. There have been some adjustments that maybe are not visible here, but I made additional adjustment with this proposal. And yeah, we will then see what GGG will come with. Okay, but let's start. First is Ancestral Commander. This I have changed just a few things. First of all, there has been reduced Warcry speed on the Warcry ascendancy. I don't see a reason why to nerf it too much. I don't think that Warcries are OP. So yeah, I just decided to buff that. Another thing, Ancestral Reach used to give only one additional strike. Like, why wouldn't we get two if we can get two on clouds? Like, yeah, at least make it good enough. Like, and there is also Valkyrie, which gives you two additional strikes. So it's kind of weird. It would force players to play four cries than this. If they clearly need only this. So yeah, it feels much better in my opinion to have two, and it feels more in line and more interesting. Then we go for Antiquarian. Here has been a few changes. First, more strength instead of 150, it gives 250 because having no intelligence is a huge downside. It's not only spells, it's also a lot of auras, a lot of reservation skills, carves when damage taken setups, including all the guard skills. At least I think that all of them. Actually, no, Iron Skin needs, I think, uh, only strength, but doesn't have taken, I think, needs also intelligence. So there is quite a lot of, and also curses. Like curses was always like 3 damage, and now you lose the 3 damage. So it feels kind of bad. So I decided to buff that. Second of all, turtle shell. It used to give 1000 stun increased stun recovery, which is exactly the number that Jewel gives you, Jewel that exists. But I decided to give player a different kind of jewel. This one is much more interesting, much more powerful. 60% of damage from stunning hits is recovered as life. So yeah, usually this jewel isn't that easy to get. It's not super expensive. It's like few divines. But having it on ascendancy, the more expensive and the more important jewel would feel much better. Also, what else? Let's go here. Runic tablet, in adrenaline when Ward breaks, that was there already, but if Ward didn't break, because you had build which make it that it doesn't break, uh, it just didn't feel good enough, in my opinion. Adrenaline is quite powerful buff, but is it worth the ascendancy? Maybe if it's permanent, but it wasn't really permanent, in my opinion, in some builds. So I gave it a little bit of a buff of less damage taken while you have the ward. Then Line Ice Shield. It used to reduce physical damage taken from projectile attacks. So now it will just reduce 100 damage from all projectiles. It doesn't matter if it's attack or if it's spell, just all damage, all projectiles, even fire damage it can prevent. Like, it's much better now. Then we have Arakali, Servant of Arakali. Few changes here. It used to grant you Penance Mark, which you then needed to cast, and it's kind of weird that you put ascendancy point into something that could potentially exist as a skill itself, and it doesn't even like happen automatically. This makes it happen automatically, and it would feel much better. Then minions have chance to wither. 10% was low, very low. Even if you have a lot of minions, wither only lasts 2 seconds. So yeah, buff it up to 20 seconds. It would feel much better. Next, we have Architect of Chaos. Few changes here, only few. This is decent ascendancy, but skills cost life instead of mana. This is decent in some builds, but you don't really want to go for it because it costs ascendancy point. So now, with the more life, it's more interesting. Also, Heaven Flash skills reserve life instead of mana. Like, imagine when you would like to make this happen. Like, you are not using your mana for anything. You are not using it to cast spells. You are not using it to reserve anything. It would just be wasted. And then it used to give 100% increased reservation efficiency. So in order to make this actually worth it, like before, you needed to like reserve over 50% of your life, because if you didn't take this, then you could just reserve 100% of your mana. So now you need to reserve 50% of your life, or it used to be like that. With my change, you would need to reserve 33% of your life, something like that. Yeah, I think that's correct. And then you can get closer to 50% and get some actual benefit from the ascendancy. Like if you reserve 50% with 100%, then you are on zero. You gain no benefit. And you need to gain a benefit to make this actually worthwhile ascendancy. I'm not sure if 200% is enough. Maybe 300% might be better, but I don't want to go too overboard without further testing. So yeah, I suggest this. Yeah. Then we have um, aristocrat or aristocrat. Um, just a few things here. I don't have that much experience with like how much each point is worth. Like, should the big one be 5, small one 1? I decided to keep it like this, but a few things. It used to give 3 levels to support gems, non-exceptional ones. It's not enough. Like most support gems don't even give you 1% more damage per level. So in most cases, it gave you like 1 or 2% more damage. Which, if you have 5 gems, it's 2% times 5, it's 10% more damage. Like it was terrible. And now it will give you like between 3 to 4%, maybe. Let's say 3%. 3% times 5 is 15% more damage. Is it enough? Maybe yes, maybe no. It's hard to say. Then centerpiece, 15% quality. It used to give only to skill gems, which are the active gems. Now it works also on the support gems. So yeah, would be better. And not sure if this is enough, but it would feel better definitely. Okay, then we have Rampager. It used to give you like rampage pretty much, and the downside is your spells are disabled and deal no damage. This wasn't enough in my opinion because, as I said, there are a lot of spells that you want to use. I feel that all guard skills are spells. I'm not sure, but I'm quite sure that is correct. Also, all curses are spells. I think even all the single target hexes are spells. Um, and there is quite a lot of spells that you want to use, even if you are a melee build or a, like attack build. And I feel that it needs further buffs. So yeah, 15% more damage dealt, 15% less damage taken. I think that it would feel much better. Then what I've changed, yeah, this thing. It used to only buff your unarmed hits, and now it's able to buff everything. So um, I didn't like many of these ascendancies that only buffed certain things because it felt like you cannot play anything. This is too specific. This is too specific. And with this change, it's more generic, meaning it might look like less interesting. However, it's more build enabling. And it's quite important. We don't have any of those generic classes here, and we have those very specific ones. Making them more general, I think, is better. Also, the crit strike chance is lucky on low life. This doesn't really happen, especially if you are not able to use spells to like reserve your life. Uh, but if it happens, it's something that you shouldn't count on because you already have base 10% crit chance. If your weapon used to give like 7%, this is like 30% more crit chance boost or something like that. That's quite a lot. And yeah, I'm aware that you will not get often the crit chance. But it's only a small bit on top. Um, I was okay with this. This is actually pretty good balanced. I'm not sure about the shade form and the skill effect duration. Maybe goes skill effect duration to 50%. I'm quite sure that the shade form is quite useless. It has like long cooldown and very short duration. So, and I just meant that I didn't show here, but I would do is 50% duration instead. I think that 30% is quite low, especially when shade form is that bad. Here, this is, wait, this was blind prophet. Now, this is Bokshaman. There are few things that I'm not sure about, Rotten Core and Vile, no, and Nightblood. Both of those deal damage based on mana scaling. I have never played even Archmage, so I'm not sure how powerful this is. So I cannot really say that this is powerful. I'm going to leave this on developers to say if this is enough or not. But overall, this in ascendancy, I'm okay with it. Um, just those two things are kind of question. To me, it feels weak, but again, as I said, I don't really play. I didn't play any like this kind of build. Okay, this thing is daughter of Kushabi. So few things here change. Let's go for the right side. Um, Still the same, but when you gain shrine benefits of nearby shrines for their full duration. What this means two things. You no longer need to click on shrines. You just if you get the shrine benefit, you have it for the duration. Second thing, the shrine stays on the ground. So if you don't pick it up, it will stay there, and if you go around again, you will refresh the buff again or gain the buff again. So yeah, this is way more interesting, and it feels way better, especially with the create lesser shrines, which you always needed to pick up. Um, Now they will work. Also, you will automatically like gain their benefits. I said it like you only gain the shrine benefit if you have the benefit on you. The lesser shrines don't give any benefit, like if you don't pick it up, but this will give you the benefit of the lesser shrines on the ground. This is the same. Here, big change because those things are meant for something else. The wisps are for one hits, and spell slinging is for one spells, pretty much. So I've decided to split them. Then here, out of monkey, GGG developers are really bad at balancing ascendancies based on upsides and downsides. They are usually making it look that you get a lot of upsides, but they don't really think about the downsides, which is why I have buffed so many things. Like I have buffed here, uh, what is the strength, for example, here, and yeah, maybe we will look at other things, but they are not really aware of the downsides and they are not balancing toward them enough. Like this gave you before 30% movement speed if boots have no sockets. Like if this was the whole ascendancy, that would be like weak. 30% maximum life if gloves have no sockets. Like if this was ascendancy including the movement speed, this might be okay. Might. I don't think it would be okay, but might be potentially okay. But this is your baseline, and you are sacrificing sockets. You need to go even further beyond to make this ascendancy actually worth it. So what I did is that I buffed everything. 50% movement speed if boots have no sockets. So this can give you quite a lot of movement speed. 50% maximum life if glove has no sockets. 60% all resistances. This means including chaos. If helmet has no sockets, like there are multiple of things which you want to not use sockets for. So yeah, that's interesting. Also, defenses from body armor are doubled. This has been changed to defenses are doubled if body armor has no sockets. So yeah, most of your defenses come from body armor if you don't use the actually no, this should be changed. Defenses from items are doubled. This is how it should work. Because just defenses are doubled, it's too overpowered in my opinion. Defenses from items are doubled, so this is incorrect actually a slide, but uh, still, if body armor has no sockets, defenses from items are doubled. Actually, I don't. It doesn't need to specify from items because if I specify from items, it gives me base defenses. And if I keep it like this, it can be final defenses, which means that instead of like 30,000 armor, I will have 60,000 armor. But if I change the base, it would pretty much exclude aura, and that's it. So I can keep it like this actually. This is fine. So yeah, and then effects are doubled if you don't have the mentioned items. So if you don't have body armor, you have less base armor. but your defenses are quadrupled. So yeah, we are starting to getting here some interesting things. 60% all resistances if you don't have helmet. So this is also quite interesting. Instead of 60, it will be 120. So just your helmet will almost fix your resistances. But you cannot help the helmet, and the helmet would have some resistances. You could have like 3 resistances on the helmet. So in total, you are now like maybe how much, like 60 chaos in plus, and then like 12 of each. So that's maybe like 90, maybe 100 resistances in total. That's not that much. And you are also missing life, you are missing potential energy shield or armor. I feel that this is quite balanced actually. 100% increased life if you have no gloves. Gloves are usually not that important, so this is kind of interesting. And if you have no boots, which usually give you around 30% movement speed, you get 50% movement speed. Actually, again, wide balanced. Because you get like 20% increased movement speed if you don't have the boots, like compared to if you have them. But you lose the armor, you lose resistances, you lose life. So yeah, this is actually kind of balanced. It looks crazy, but that is because you lose so many things. So yeah, this has been the daughter of Shabe. Yes. Now let's go to Gambler. A few things changed here. Deal 25% less damage, it was changed to 20. Because with 25, you did on average 20% more damage. And that's just not enough, because having random damage is a downside in most cases. So I buffed it slightly, so it's, I think, now 28% more damage on average. Now, maximum resistance, it used to reduce your normal resistances, which didn't really make sense. It made gearing slightly harder, and it made it kind of no-brainer for elemental resistances. Now, your maximum resistances are always 70%. This means exposure cannot reduce them, map mods cannot reduce them, but you are getting slightly more damage than before, but the damage is more fixed. And there is now a range between 70 to 90, depending on if like you have if the chance happens or not. In my opinion, this is more balanced, more interesting, and better for map mods. And overall, might be actually a buff, because the 70% is fixed. So that's kind of nice. Um, Damage of enemies that take you as is inactive while on low life. Like there is no reason to keep there while on low life, because you could go just petrified blood and be permanently on low life. And yeah, because everyone can do it. It's at a cost of aura, but still, like everyone can do it and make it permanent. So yeah, just make it permanent. Okay, then we have here Herald. No, not Herald. Harbinger. Maybe it's called differently. This is the Harbinger Ascendancy. So for a few things has been changed. Harbinger of Arcane, effective duration of buff has been doubled. The buffs are so weak, it needs buff. So yeah, I just buffed it both in duration and in effect. Then we have here this thing. While you are channeling, you have Harbinger, this Harbinger's buff, because usually it's kind of hard to sustain it. There has been a lot of channeling buffs here, which was granted by the Harbinger. So yeah, I just put it together. You have the Harbinger of Focus, which gives you a lot of great buffs. If you are shard channeling, you have the buffs always, like stun immunity, you take less damage, and maybe shock immunity. Not sure. There are quite great things, quite a few great things. Okay, here buffs expire 50% instead of 30% slower. Debuffs expire 50% faster instead of 30. Yeah, just make it slightly better. This was terrible. Now it's better. Okay, now this was the channeling ascendancy. I moved it here. And now for each buff on you, you deal 1% more damage, take 1% less, and your action speed is increased by 1%. It can stop up to 10 times. The reason why I gave it a limit is because there are few buffs that you can infinitely stack, and well, not maybe infinitely, but you can get so many buffs, separate buffs from one item or one, yeah, pretty much always item. And it would make it broken. So I had to make there a limit. And yeah, if you have 10, you have 10% more damage, 10% action speed, which is in total like 20% more damage, and 10% less damage taken is like 30% more powerful character. But you need this buffs on you. Okay, let's keep going. Harbinger, only thing changed here. +4 level. If it's so specific, you need to give it one more level. Like, I would be okay if it said like +3 to all spell levels, but if you are Herald skills, give it 4. The same thing that happened with the zombies. Yeah, give it 4. So this was the Herald Ascendancy. This is the Paladin Ascendancy. Few things changed here. First of all, these skills were pretty bad. Level 30, it's not much different from level 20. It gives you one free socket and slightly stronger aura, but not that much. It need to have a huge buff, so it has now no reservation. It was necessary. I had reduced the level of grace and determination. I had not reduced the discipline because discipline costs 30% mana. I think maybe I think actually 35, while determination and grace cost 50. So this needed to like keep the higher level, and those two didn't need to keep it. Then link skill change. 5 levels of link gems. Link gems don't really matter at all. What you need is a lot of quality of life. So link length doubled, duration tripled. Your spell is now equal to your link target. All of those things should be like by default happening, like by default, but they are not happening. Like all of this quality of life is something that everyone wants with link skills, and it's almost unplayable and not worth it to play them. But with this, it's worth it. It's good, and it shouldn't be a real ascendancy. It should be in the base game, but it's not. So yeah, if you want to use link skills, this will make them feel much better. Then we have here Polite Haste. Polite Haste. So a few things changed here. Let's start with the bigger changes. Devote of Grokul, again, as I said, GGG is not really aware how much downsides are, like how big downsides are. Like your spells are disabled and deal no damage. This is huge. That's terrible. Again, the auras, the caresses, the Kazan mistakes, yeah, pretty bad. But if you look at the upsides, they're not that huge. Like 8% regen. What the Templar has now? He has like the Inquisitor. He has like wait, what is it? The no, the desecrated ground. The regeneration ground. I can't remember the name actually. And the ground when he stands, he always has it, and it also regenerates his shields. So he has like 10% regen overall. This gives you 8%, and also gives you 300 life. Yeah, I think that this maybe it's on stronger side. Maybe we would need some kind of nerf. Maybe only 6% life per second. But I think, and maybe even the base life nerf. But I would like to have this an option for Righteous Fire builds. And all spell builds that would like to run Righteous Fire just for the more damage. So yeah, this would be interesting for that. Devote of the Brine King, it was just weak. Very situational, and you cannot really play situationally. Like I will only fight cold enemies. Like no, that's not going to happen. So if it happens, you have more cold resist. Nice. He also cannot be chilled, which is slightly better. Like cannot be chilled. That's might be more of an ascendancy point. And cannot be stunned. Okay, might be worth it. Might probably not. But maybe. Uh, Devote of Rishtala used to give more attack damage, which was kind of weird. because a lot of things here, especially with the class Templar, is better with spells. So having random more attack damage is kind of weird. So I've changed it. Still, nearby enemies cannot uh, regenerate life, but your recovery is much stronger, which again is great with Righteous Fire. It's great with everything, and this also counters the reduced recovery mode on maps. Which is the reason why I put it here, because I hate the mod and I want to have an ascendancy which is able to ignore it with regeneration or normal leech. You can kind of counter it with instant recovery, but I would want more sources of increased recovery to kind of um, get around that. The vote of Garukan, the buff is increased movement speed. It's only increased, but everybody wants movement speed. Movement speed is so great. All of these buffs are kind of situational and kind of not important, but the movement speed is something that you will always notice. So yeah, much better now. I would probably take it at least during leveling, and maybe even keep it for later because the grounds can be sometimes bad. And if you go righteous fire again, the region is good, and it might be enough. You don't even maybe need the vote of Gorakul. You can just take this. You have a life regen, you have movement speed, and you are immune to grounds. Might be good. Then the vote of Solaris. Nearby enemies are blinded. Still same. It used to be 100% increased crit strike chance against blinded enemies. Now it's 300%. It only works against blinded enemies, so you need to be close to them. As the first downside of this. And second, 100% increased crit strike chance. Like if you have spell which is 7% crit strike chance, this makes it 14, which is like nothing. This is like how much is like two power charges? I'm not sure if power charges give 40% or 50% crit strike chance, but it's really not enough. Like if you want crit strike chance, just take here the free power charges and you are much better off. So yeah, I went for 300% because going from 7% crit strike chance to 21, yeah, it's much better buff. Yeah, this is definitely not noticeable unlike before. And it still works only against blinded enemies which are nearby. So yeah, much better now. Devote of Aberat. It's great for leveling, however, the sockets, at least to my knowledge, didn't work on it. And now they will. The support gems you put into boots now work on it. Nice. Also, I'm not sure if it works like this, but I would want it to be kind of considered as Nova spell, because then you could just move around and it would kill enemies. Maybe it works already, maybe it doesn't, but I would want it to work. It will feel great. Okay, so that was Polite Haste. Now, Puppeteer. A few things changed here. Um, let's start with the more interesting. Your permanent minions revive 4 seconds after death. Yeah, it's pure buff here, like nothing crazy, just buff. Like this has been so weird kind of thing. But now you can utilize more builds and make them feel better. Yeah, they just revive. Nice. 60% more life. Maybe that's too much. Maybe I should go only like for 40 or 50%. But life usually doesn't do damage. It does in this case, but usually it doesn't. So more minion life. It works for all minions, so that's good. And it also works more with archetype of like exploding minions. Nice. Then increased size of zombies. Let's again change it to minion. Um, then we have here lingering blades, or like animated weapon change. You no longer need to animate lingering blade or animate weapon on the ground. If you cast the animated weapon, it will just animate lingering blade without you needing to get the lingering blade. Like I don't get why you need to find a weapon or create a weapon and then animate it. If you can just animate like 3 skeletons at once, which already have weapons, like it doesn't make logical sense, and it should create the weapon without needing the weapons. That's my opinion, and it would uh, at least allow us to explore this. Maybe it would bring animated weapons more into popularity. Hex bearer. If you have ascendancy point around hexes, you want the hexes to work. So yeah, they work even on hexproof maps. Nice. And last thing here, nearby enemies. It used to be 30%. I mean 20% of the life reserve, but by the time that you get close to the enemy, the life is already away. So now there is higher chance that if you get close, there will still be life reserved. So or they would still have enough life that you will actually benefit from it. This is not 20% more damage. It's only 20% more damage if your enemies don't hit before you get there, which they often do. They usually kill enemies before you get there. So yeah, this will be better in like on average and might feel better. It wasn't good enough before. Um, yeah, I didn't really look into this. I know that there are a few things that are OP, like a reverse chill stuff and maybe something else, but I didn't really look into this because that's kind of complicated. Oh, also, I didn't alternate this, but I would change. Um, I know that this is very powerful, but effect of chill is reversed. Uh, Maybe reduce the maximum chill effect on you, balance it out, maybe. Not sure. I would do some kind of nerf to this, but not sure exactly which one. Again, I don't really understand it as a sentence. It's like trying to be like attack based mana, and I don't really play my scaling stuff, so it's kind of harder for me to understand. Build speaker. One big question is Primal Instinct. If they not nerf suppression, do you want to nerf it again? I'm not sure. Also, if you go acrobatics, this gives you like so much dodge chance, which isn't nerfed in any way. Uh, it's quite crazy. Tailwind, in my opinion, isn't strong enough. Um, yeah, there are a few questionable things. Also, Boon of the first ones doesn't feel very powerful, and that's it. So yeah, I kind of with some classes I didn't bother that much, but some classes I went more into depth, the ones that I understood more, and those are my proposals for balance changes. So that's it. Thank you for watching. See you next time.